I wanted to start to share a slide presentation I'm working on that has way too many slides. I need to take about 20 of the 100 out to do in my seminar I'm giving in Solana Beach coming up soon, and how to improve your future self. So, as I keep talking about on the podcast, hopefully you subscribe to the podcast and audio and the YouTube channel to learn how you can recreate your current self so you can be your best self in the future, right? So we're looking at longevity, having purpose, positive thinking, having a community, and of course, the lifestyle habits, the nutrition, and the exercise. But I want to share some information about how I do metabolism testing and help correlate the data together to improve your future self. So, if you don't know me at all, I am previously a personal trainer and a coach. And then over the years, I've continued my education for the past 10 years in holistic lifestyle practitioner work, really focusing on FDN practitioner, nutritional therapy practitioner. FDN practitioners, where we learn how to use functional lab testing to investigate what is actually going on under the hood and correlating all the data together to create personalized programs. I struggled with my own health issues, which led me to this ongoing continuing education over the years. And so previously, I owned a fitness studio called Fitness Forward Studio in Bellevue, Washington, and I closed it October 1st, 2019. Luckily, I did not have to deal with the stress of being a struggling fitness studio owner in 2020, but I had a gym, tried to add in nutritional therapy, sauna. We had a sunlight and sauna, acupuncture, massage, and I did all sorts of different seminars, and I did new leaf metabolic testing. So I tried to offer holistic coaching and training and all one fitness studio back then, but I was a little bit ahead of the curve of circuit training and heart zone training and doing biohacking seminars, longevity. We did bone broth fasts, and I did all sorts of health fairs and seminars and challenges, but I was not as successful as I wanted to be. So it was a constant stress because no one really understood what I was talking about back then, but now everybody does. So I was a little bit ahead of everything, as I tend to be in my life. So my lessons learned from my own health issues that started in 2013, I was doing too much of everything. And my philosophy from my own journey and life experiences, more is not better. Too much of anything can be toxic. Too little of anything can lead to deficiency. So we need the right amount, the Goldilocks effect. Looking at our genetics, understanding the role of metabolic harmony in our body, and we call it, as FDN practitioners, creating metabolic chaos, and how we have this whole domino effect if something is off balance. And that our body is innate intelligence, and we need to restore that balance homeostasis to bring the body into metabolic harmony to get the body's innate intelligence to work together. I wrote a book, Life is Not a Race. It is a journey that is on Amazon, but I am trying to speak out more about it, just learning how to take care of the whole you from the inside out. So I'm really sharing my story. Are you doing all the right things, but still struggling to get the desired results? That is what I do as a practitioner and a coach, and really feel that it's my purpose to help you figure out what is best for you and not taking a one size fits all approach. As I had my metabolic chaos, adrenal exhaustion, when I was best shape of my life, I was eating real food. I was eating lots of protein and healthy fats and my fruits and vegetables. And I was strict on my nutrition and timing my nutrition, but I wasn't managing my stress. I was doing too much of everything. So identifying what your external stresses are and what your hidden sources of internal stress are about are a really important part of my coaching style. What I also do is metabolism testing. So really identifying what is best for you for your nutrition and exercise, it's not just functional lab testing, but doing metabolism tests can give us so much more insight of what is going on with you at a cellular level. And creating metabolic harmony includes how we breathe, our lungs, our muscles, our heart, all these systems in our body need to be functioning and working together. So we want to find out what is holding me back from being my best self. So in my seminar, I'm talking about, are you doing all the right things, but you're still stuck? And this is what I just went over with my own story, but just feeling fatigue, brain fog, stubborn weight, you're not recovering, you're trying to lose weight, but nothing's working. But this is why I'm really a huge believer in testing and not guessing. You can't outwork a broken metabolism, and you can't fix what you don't measure. So what I do is I help driven, high-performing individuals like you to avoid burnout, breakdown, and biological aging that comes from living life as a constant race. So after experiencing my own health crash in 2013, I've made it my mission to help others avoid going through what I went through and help them optimize their metabolism, their energy, their aging factors, with improving their longevity before it's too late. So I'm going to move my little picture here. Why does metabolic health matter? Well, by the time we reach midlife, our metabolism naturally slows down, but it's not what it has to be. It slows down, our hormones change, and recovery takes longer. That doesn't mean it has to be that way. It means that we need to redo how we do things and not expect the same results from the way we've been doing things. We need to get smarter how we fuel, train, and perform each day. So as we enter midlife, and my goal is to help you thrive in your second half of your life. And after you turn 50, let's think of that second half of our life as our best time in life. And we're reaching our retirement age. We want to be in our prime. That's my goal for you. So if we can help optimize your metabolism, this will help protect your bone, preserve muscle, and get stronger as we age. Help our hormones, keep them in balance, energy production, reduce oxidative stress or inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, so we can get leaner, stronger, and more sharper in our brain. So we want to think about thriving and not struggling. That's my goal. So we're not just improving how you feel today, but we're doing everything we can do right now. Really needs to be a priority. So when I'm ready to retire and travel the world, I'm set to go. I'm healthy from the inside and out. So the FutureYOU program, what I'm trying to put together here is improving mitochondrial health through your nutrition, your recovery, testing and not guessing, so you can stay focused, full of energy as you age. So it's not that you need more willpower, more discipline. You just need a better insight. We want to get real answers about how your body works. So in this seminar, I'm going to teach you how to work with your own metabolism, not against it. So you can finally unlock lasting energy, fat loss, and strength gains. So let's go into what is health optimization. It's not just about not getting sick. To me, it's about building vibrant health from the inside out, starting at a cellular level, so you can look, feel, and function your best in life. Now, why does this matter? I think people are stuck in survival mode. They're just trying to get through each day. But health optimization is about shifting your mindset, shifting into a thriving mode with energy, strength, clarity, and longevity. So being a health optimizer is fueling your body with personalized nutrition, training smarter, not harder, reducing internal stressors that are chronic and inflammation that is becoming chronic, supporting our detoxification systems, proper digestion, and cellular renewal. So that to me means taking out the garbage, cleaning up, and making room for some new healthy cells. Now, you're not stuck with how you feel today. Start rebuilding you to be the more resilient version of yourself in the future. That is my mission. Now, you're investing in how you look, feel, and function for the decades ahead. It's a preventative approach. It's that Peter Tia calls it medicine 3.0. Don't wait to get help when you're sick. Let's prevent getting sick. I don't want type 2 diabetes, but my genetics all say I'm prone to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. I'm not going to wait until I'm diabetic for the doctor to test my insulin. So I need to test through a different method to get my insulin tested and check on it quarterly. Looking at my CRP and looking at my mitochondrial health, as with MeScan, MeScreen, we want to test and figure out what we are doing. So I focus on 3 different categories. Fat loss, which means to me, you might think of as weight loss, or body recomposition, fat loss, weight loss. It's increasing our metabolism, so we're burning more calories at rest by getting more muscle and losing fat. We want to test and not guess how we need to do that. Performance, we'll talk about performance gains. If I'm an athlete training for an event, I want to do my best. And I want to make sure I'm doing all the right things to not create more stress via oxidative stress as I train. I want to improve my recovery and repair to avoid getting injured. I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to train smartly. And then longevity. What is my biological age versus chronological age? What are my cells? How are they functioning? Doing the MeScreen, doing organic acids test, doing genetic tests. We can do all these different tests, but what is one thing you could do today to improve your future self and improve the aging factor? We'll talk about that. So PNOE Metabolism Testing is what equipment I use. You can usually find it, look up who does PNOE Metabolism Testing and Metabolism Testing cart near you. But you're discovering your resting metabolic rate, RMR, how many calories your body burns at rest. And we can identify your metabolic type if you're a carb burner versus a fat burner. And I correlate this data with your nutritional therapy intake form to learn more. And I also ask my clients doing this test to do a 5-day food and mood log so I can figure out where are you now? And then ideally, if you could do a blood chemistry panel to see what are your markers. We're also going to look at what is your peak fat max? How many calories are you burning? How much fat to carbohydrates are you burning? At what heart rate should you train at? Where is the top of my zone 2 where my carbs increase, the fat goes down? Where my bottom of zone 2 is where I'm burning the most fat. So we can pinpoint and gather this information in the exercise test. We call the active metabolism test, AMR. So we can also learn how to customize your nutrition if you want to improve your body composition. We want to increase how many calories you're burning through the day. We want to increase your fat metabolism. So we want to identify, we can go into other videos I've touched on AMPK versus mTOR, stimulating muscle protein synthesis. That will activate mTOR, activate your muscles to gain more muscle strength. That's via strength training and eating our right quality protein to stimulate muscle growth, muscle protein synthesis. Versus we can identify through this test, do you need to improve your fat metabolism? So that's going to be looking actually at your mitochondrial function. How well am I oxidizing fat? Am I needing to train, as Brad Kern's Mark Sisson's book, Born to Walk? Do I need to walk or do very low intensity to improve my peak fat max? Do I need to do interval training, sprint training? What do I need to do? So this is what I go into with each person. Now, we'll talk about mitochondrial health and metabolism, boosting your ability to switch between fat to carbohydrates. We can also work on gut-brain health and digestion and everything else connected to your fat metabolism. So PNOE Metabolic Testing cart will help you learn how to burn fat, improve your metabolism, and identify what are your areas of opportunity. What systems of your body are not optimal, not inefficient. and what we can do to fix it. So now you can lose fat, gain muscle, and feel amazing, especially when we put this with the other data as the mitochondria test from MeScream and other markers looking at your hormones. Now, athletic performance, we can look at what you can do for an athlete, how to train to improve your performance. We can look at your VO2 peak, your VO2 max, your metabolic crossover point, and is also we're measuring how you breathe. Do you breathe inefficiently? Do we need to do some breath work as your homework? And then we're looking at how do you recover? So PNOE testing gives you a blueprint. We get a big report after you do the resting test and the exercise test, but we can identify what we can do to help improve your aging process and avoid metabolic health issues, chronic diseases. And a lot of that is correcting what we're lacking as we get older and making up for it, and how to optimize your health at a cellular level. With your rest and metabolic rate, we get how many calories you need at rest. And maybe if you're under eating or overeating, we can figure out if we need to get that higher and solutions for that. And also if you're eating the right macronutrient ratio, we can adjust that based on what we find in the test and based on what you're doing now and your goals. VO2 peak is obviously something we'll talk about more, but this is what you'll hear about from Peter Attia and other people to look at your cardiovascular fitness and your lifespan. Again, we just mentioned the fat max, and crossover point is your zone 2, where your body burns the most fat and where you switch to carbs, the crossover point. Then we're getting insights to your mitochondria health, insight to cellular energy and resiliency in your breathing. And we can combine all this data we collect to figure out nutrition goals, exercise, lifestyle, and recovery, heart rate variability training, and more. Figuring out, do you need some target longevity solutions? Do you need some red light therapy to support mitochondria biogenesis? Do you need more zone 2 training or sprint interval training? Do you need to increase your VO2 max and metabolic flexibility? Burning fat, burning carbs, burning fat again. Do you need to optimize cellular energy and recovery by getting the right minerals in your body? And listen to my podcast and video with Beam Minerals, and you can get a discount code with my podcast link, or you can just use Coach Debbie Potts. And then sleep and stress habits. This is what I do more in my larger packages with clients, because to really personalize how to exercise, we also need to look at how are you sleeping? How are you managing your stress? So longevity is not a guessing game. We can get a strategy grounded in unique metabolic fingerprint and figure out where you're going. So metabolic health matters for your future self. Your metabolism is the engine that powers your entire body, your mitochondria, your ATP. It controls how you burn fat, creates energy, build muscle, balance your hormones, and recovery. So when your metabolic energy or metabolic health is strong, you wake up with energy. You burn fat more easily throughout the day, and you keep muscle. You're not losing muscle, sarcopenia. Your workouts feel exhausted? No, that you should feel productive and feel invigorated after a workout, not that you need a nap. So we want the right type of workouts, using a heart rate monitor when you're doing cardio, figuring out your strength trainings, figuring out your intervals and what is best for you. Recovery, faster, feel sharper, and your age is slowing down while you're staying leaner and stronger, more vibrant. That's metabolic health. Now, opposite, of course, is metabolic health decline. You'll feel sluggish even with your sleep. You wake up feeling tired. Your weight won't budge. You've tried everything with diet and nutrition and you just can't lose the weight. You crash after meals. You're just tired. Your workouts leave you tired, and you experience cravings, burnout, hormones up and down. You're aging faster, both inside and out. So recreating your current self to be your best self in the future is about metabolic health. It's the foundation of your future self. So by the time we reach midlife, our metabolism naturally begins to slow. Our hormones shift and recovery takes longer. But as I said this earlier, that does not mean decline is inevitable. Inevitable. Can't say the word. It means it's time to get smarter, not just work harder. So with PNOE metabolism testing in my analysis, we're looking at your VO2 max or VO2 peak, your metabolic rate, your fat and carb burn at rest, your fat and carb burn during exercise, how well you're breathing because we have the face mask on. Do we need to improve your breathing? Now, improving your VO2 max, what do we need to do that? Do we need to improve your metabolism? How do we do that? What are you eating? What's your strength training routine? How are you improving your fat to carb burn during the day? So we need to look at all this through our PNOE metabolism testing. So recreating your current self to optimize your metabolism in midlife, help preserve muscle and bone, support hormone balance and energy production, reduce inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity so we stay leaner, stronger, sharper, more resilient, just help us shift to thrive as we age. So your metabolism is how your body creates energy. It impacts your fat burning, your brain clarity, your hormone balance, recovery, aging. It impacts everything. So picture's always in the way. Your body rebuilds itself every day. So whatever we can do to improve our mitochondria, our brain health, our gut health, our cellular aging, we want to start now. The goal is not to just live longer, but really looking at how I'm quality of life, brain health, cognitive health, muscle health, and more. All right, so when your mitochondria decline, we feel tired, sluggish, wired, but tired. Struggle to lose weight despite doing everything right. Brain fog, poor sleep, slow recovery creep in. You notice signs of early aging and burnout. Understanding what's going on inside of your body. I want you to use data, not guesswork, to guide your workouts, food, lifestyle, supporting your mitochondrial metabolism today so you become your strongest, most energetic, healthiest version of yourself in the future. So we want to care about our mitochondria, and we want to make sure we're doing what we can do to improve our mitochondria so we're thriving. So we have more metabolism, burning fat metabolism, fat oxidation, our brains clear, focused, recovery. So using PNOE testing, we can help improve this and connect the data all together and optimize it and more. So we'll go into this next steps, how you can use the me screen, organic acids test, figuring out how to customize your program. So stay tuned for more information on a part 2 and how you can improve your mitochondria with some data and figure out what's best for you. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And enjoy mitochondria biogenesis, how you exercise and train, how you recover. We'll work on that next.